All right, this is Troy with stayonthecourt.com. If you've been following along, we are going to do a kind of a post-mortem on practice number 3 that we had this week. And we got a couple things that worked, a couple things that did not work. So if you watched the previous video on the practice planning for practice 3, the plan was to do Duke Speed Dribbling. That went fine. We probably did that for 5 minutes. The kids like going fast and generally enjoyed, it was just really speed dribbling, alternating hands, and then a jump stop. So that got the blood flowing a little bit. So a lot of what we had to do Tuesday was talk about what, the games were going to look like since we have our first game this weekend. So we talked about pregame, just warn them we will have 5 to 7 minutes to warm up. We'll assign them their numbers 1 through 5 based on what position they are. So just talked a little bit about that. Then I went into what I'd hoped would be our warm-up drill, which is Cardinal, which is essentially half court, going 2-on-1, but there's a lot of passing, so everybody's touching the ball. And that did not go well at all. So partially my fault. I had them lined up incorrectly. And will I blame this video? Maybe a little bit. So for whatever reason, I saw people here in this video, and I thought we lined up 2 people underneath the hoop. But they were kind of just, they must have been student managers or something. So really, you just need to have kids lined up at either corner, and then after the pass, they're advancing. They're making this shot. The people doing the 2-on-1, somebody's going to make it the rebound. They outlet out here. This person passes up to a person here. They pass it cross court, and then they go 2-on-1 against whatever offensive player took the shot. So, it's fifth graders. Conceptually, I'm going to try this again at our next practice to see if we can get it to go, because I like all the movement and the touches of the balls and the energy. But one thing I think will be challenging for them is this person's throwing the ball and then following into the spot. This other corner person has to know when that person throws the ball to also move up and go to that spot. And I think conceptually that's going to be a little hard for these guys to get in 5th grade. But we're going to try it one more time and see what happens. So that was a big fail. And so what I did is I just switched them into, if you've watched the rest of the videos, what I call the cones drill, which is kind of a 2-on-2. Kids love it. Like when things are falling apart, I tend to go back to that cones drill because the kids like it. There's a lot of energy and everybody's getting touches of the ball. So that was a fail. All right, then we had to just walk through a jump ball. Went through the elements of what that looks like. Not super exciting, but we just did 2 or 3. The biggest thing is emphasizing to the jumper that they're going to call out the name of the person who they're going to tip the ball to, and they did get that by the end of that. I'll call it a demo drill. Made basket. I did not talk about this, so this is going to shift to our next practice. I didn't talk about the person closest going to the ball, or actually the closest person to the ball, taking it out to get moving quickly. We did do race car again. This is turning into a team favorite. They like that drill. I've gone over it in previous videos. Again, if anybody wants any of this material, certainly just email me at troy.wallace, WALLACE, at stayonthecourt.com, and I'll be happy to get some of this to you. All right, so we did that. Race car drilled tires people out, so then we stopped and did some free throws. Again, just walking through where do the kids line up, what are the general rules for the shooter, what are the general rules for the non-shooters. All right, then we have not we're in practice 3 and we really had done no defensive drills. So we just did a base. I wanted to do a 3-man shell drill and then a 5-man. I just didn't feel like we had the time. So I just went to a 5-man. We likely spent 5 minutes max on it. But at least I got a little glimpse, and we'll do a little more of that in our next practice this week before the game. So then we did a game called Transition Advantage. You can go back and look at that video. That ends up being a good game. I really emphasize on the defensive side because the defense is typically shorthanded in this drill. How the kids need to talk to each other. They got to figure out who's got the man. That's a really game-like situation. All right, then we talked about substitutions. How does that happen? Reporting to the scoreboard. That they will know who they're going in for, that they need to talk to the person they're going in for, understand who they're going to be guarding. I'll probably go over that again tonight because I don't think we spent a whole lot of time on it. I wanted to do a sideline out of bounds and didn't get to it. So we'll have to go over that tonight because we do not have a sideline out of bounds play installed at this point. Discuss always moving after your pass. That's kind of what we do almost every practice. Let's see here. We did talk about timeouts. They tend to get that. I actually had them come on the court, called timeout, kind of reenacted what it looked like. Everybody seems to understand that. One thing that helped is I told the people on the bench that need to come off the bench and come to the back, being back at the coaches, is that they were protecting what we were saying from the other team. So they kind of felt like there was a purpose there. So that was helpful. Base 5 out offensive back cuts. We didn't really get to that either. And we did not get to the baseline out of bounds. So we didn't get to nearly as much as I would want to on this practice. I'm trying to think if there's another one that I missed. I felt like we did do a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's it. Just, walking through all these game-like scenarios just, takes a little bit of time. So I think that it was definitely necessary. We had 2 kids that were not at the practice, so we may have to re-review some of this at our next practice, and then we have a game on Sunday. So that is the post-mortem on practice 3. Some things worked and some things did not. Again, if you are interested in these resources, certainly go to stayonthecourt.com. There's a lot of, there's a contact form to get a hold of me there, or just email me, troy.wallace@stayonthecourt.com. That's it. We'll talk to you all later.